This has been a Corwin Toyota going over your Lexus here today for the inspection, as well as the noise while turning, as well as the kind of abnormal engine noise. As far as that engine noise goes, we did go ahead and find the water pump bearing is causing that rattling. So these 4 bolts sticking out, that is rattling, as well as the water pump is leaking. This is coolant that's dripping all the way down to the bottom of the vehicle, so I definitely recommend getting that replaced. That is definitely something that as soon as we start to hear it or start to see it, we want to make sure that we're getting that replaced. So we'll get that quoted out. As far as the suspension and everything goes, everything's a little bit worn out just from over the years. Not anything too horrible here in the rear. And then as far as that creaking noise goes in the front, that is suspension related, excuse me. The front control arm bushing, so mainly this rear one, front one's a little more tucked up in there. On the driver's side is what's causing that kind of creaking noise while turning. You can also just kind of come to a stop, let off the brake, creep forward, and then hit the brakes again, and you'll see this wheel kind of jump around a little bit. We'd also recommend replacing them in pairs. By the time we have to pull the subframe for this, so by the time we pull the subframe to replace the one side, it's just cheaper to do both at the same time. These are starting to get a little bit loose. You can see the cracking and stuff there, but the passenger side is not as bad as the driver's side. So we'll get that quoted out, as well as a 4-wheel alignment. Once we get everything put back together, we will have to realign the vehicle just to verify, make sure that we're wearing on these tires as evenly as possible for you. Aside from that, we did go ahead and pull both your filters. Your cabin air filter is dirty. I would recommend replacing that. Your engine air filter does look good though. Nothing to worry about there. As far as the rest of the vehicle goes, we did notice that TPMS light flashing on the dash. I would recommend diagnosing that. Could be sensors, could be the wiring, or the module itself. So I'd recommend delving into that just a little bit more. And then the only other thing that we noticed here today was the driver's front axle seals leaking. You can see the transmission fluid that's kind of pooling up underneath the transmission. The transmission pan gasket could also be leaking, but we know for sure the axle seal's leaking, so we'll kind of have to attack that first and then see, once we get all this cleaned up, what else may be leaking. As well as I would recommend a transmission fluid exchange with this job. There has been a lot of loss of fluid here because of how bad this is leaking, as well as I can just tell that fluid looks pretty dark, so I would recommend replacing the transmission fluid. Aside from that, everything else on the vehicle is looking good, so we'll get that whole inspection sheet sent over to you. Thank you again for choosing Corwin Toyota, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.